Welcome back, you guys. I'm glad to have you here. I'm going to talk about another important piece of real estate investing when it comes to that idea of wealth building. Okay, there's kind of a handful of these really important pieces why real estate investors love doing what we do to build wealth. My name is Mark Hulsey. I'm a commercial investment real estate broker for a very long time. I've been a real estate investor for even a much longer time. I've been in this industry for literally decades. So I'm here to share information with you. Okay, and I don't care if you're a new investor, you're an intermediate, or you're an advanced investor. We work with lots of very sophisticated advanced investors in our very high-end commercial investment business, but we also come from helping dozens and dozens of people get started in the business. And of course, if you look at some of our other videos, I did a video on appreciation, right? Like, how can you not go wrong when you're owning a $300,000 home, a $300,000 small office building, and you know in the US right now that our appreciation is at 3.8%. Many areas it's at 4%, 5%, 6%. Investors, including myself, when you look at your spreadsheet and you say, oh my goodness, this is amazing how much this is going up each year simply because of the total value of the real estate, right? And many times because real estate is leveraged, we might put 20% down and we're having OPM, other people's money. It's a video I did not too long ago, you guys, helping to pay down that mortgage. So it's appreciating, you're paying this down with other people's money. Here's the next piece I want to talk about today. Depreciation. So we just talked about appreciation. What's depreciation? Here's what depreciation is. Most of you know depreciation from what? When you buy a car, right? You buy that car and everyone's like, oh, why would you buy a new car? It depreciates right away. You drive it off the lot, suddenly that car just went from, a $40,000 car to a $32,000 car. You drove it off the lot, you just lost $8,000. That's one way that most average consumers will think about depreciation. Let me tell you about how it works in real estate. Real estate's a little bit different deal. The beautiful thing about depreciation in real estate, first, is understand something. Depreciation only applies to the building. So when you go out and you buy a piece of property, what are you buying? Typically if you're buying that office building is the building, also called an improvement on the land. You can't depreciate land. Land doesn't depreciate. Land is land is land. That's why the cliche is they'll never make more of it. You better buy it while you can, right? But buildings are different. So when you look at this and you say, that's why if you look at your most common, if you look at a tax record and you'll look at your tax records and the county assessor from the county where you have to pay your property taxes will usually break it out and say your building's worth this much, your land's worth that much. Your total is equal to this. So always bear in mind depreciation applies only to a building, not the land. Our Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, that big government organization that we all love so much, tells us that, hey, real estate investor, your building is going to fall apart. Okay, it's just a matter of time. Your building is going to deteriorate and fall apart. So because of that, I want to give you a break. That's what Mr. Government says to me. You know what, Mark? That single family home investment that you just bought over there, in 27 and a half years, okay, that's an important number, 27.5, a dwelling, a residential, a multifamily unit. It's going to fall apart in 27 and a half years. So here's what we're going to do for you. We're going to let you, for the next 27 and a half years, take a small piece, like an expense, of the value of just that building, and we're going to start taking that away as an expense for you. Okay, so when you're doing your taxes, we're doing our Schedule E. We're having our accountant or our tax attorney prepare our documents for us, and they're preparing the Schedule E for each particular real estate asset that we have, in addition to all of our other expenses that we're paying on there, right? Our mortgage, our interest, our taxes. We get to take depreciation. We get to take 127.5% every single year on that residential unit, house, duplex, triplex, fourplex, apartment building, residential multifamily housing. And we're going to get to take that 127.5 as an expense. You guys, this adds up. This isn't some little tiny thing that you think, oh, big deal, who cares? You really start to care a lot. The more you build a portfolio, the more you really start to care, because suddenly you're going like, You mean I was able to declare how much depreciation last year? That depreciation is washing away our income. You're taking in income, right? That you need to declare that income. Here's another thing that washes away the income. It's a beautiful thing. That's what we want. That's what we want. So I covered the residential side of this from a depreciation point of view. What about the commercial side? So the IRS says, yeah, you know, your house, your dwelling, your apartment building, your whatever is going to fall apart in 27 and a half years, but your commercial building, that retail building, your office building, that industrial building, 39 years. It's going to take a little bit longer for that one to fall apart and collapse. Of course, you guys understand that our buildings don't fall apart and collapse in 27 and a half years, nor do they in 39 years, right? We have these properties that can last, I live in a 120-year-old house. So we have properties that last for generations and generations and generations. That's why this depreciation thing is so important to us real estate investors as we're building our portfolio. So commercial, that office building, that retail strip, as the taxes are being done at the end of the year, 1/39 of that value gets to get deducted against the income. So isn't this a beautiful thing, right? Tenants are paying down the mortgage. It's increasing in value by 3, 4, 5, 6% per year. You get to take this depreciation expense that the IRS is giving us, even though the building's not going to be torn down. It's not going to fall apart. If we take care of our assets and replace the roof and do everything we need to, it's going to be here for a very long time. Little baby catch, okay? A little bit of a catch. So those years of owning that and writing off that depreciation piece, that 127.5 or that 1/39 of that commercial asset. Here's what happens. You sell the building. There's this thing called recapture. And what is recapture? Recapture, what we're recapturing is you're taking all of that depreciation over all of those years that you were able to write off, and it gets kind of thrown into this whole profit equation. That gets thrown into what is your capital gain? Or, I sold my building, how much do I need to pay the tax man now? But if I don't replace that with another asset, per the IRS rules, I can have a pretty big tax hit, all right? So that's the key thing to remember here, you guys. Now, let's say you only owned it for a short amount of time. The amount of recapture for your depreciation, of course, is going to be in line with your short ownership period. So sometimes people say, it's not a big deal. I've only owned it for a few years. I don't have any big deal on that recapture. No big hurt on me on that one. So this is so powerful because, again, ideally what we're doing is when we're selling that property, it sure is nice to replace that property with another one. And we're able to not have to pay capital gains through a 1031. So then we've been able to take all this depreciation. We don't have to recapture it and pay the tax bill. We can go replace it with another property and basically start over and keep doing this and growing our portfolio accordingly. So I hope that's another little piece of this whole real estate investing, wealth building puzzle pie that helps you guys out. Listen, if you're an investor and you want to know more, I hope you'll follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm going to give you lots of this information for some time to come. We're commercial investment brokers. You can learn more about us through resultscommercial.com. Find us on the social media platforms, but please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I sure would appreciate it. Thanks for joining me today.